Well, what's up, guys? Welcome to Termite Off-Road. It's the week of Christmas, and not a lot going on. We're on the road a lot. We'll be on the road for the next couple of weeks, visiting family and doing things like that. So we're looking forward to getting back out and camping and doing some trail riding. But for right now, we're just kind of in between trips. And so today it's cold once again in South Mississippi. It's been like in the 70s. And then today the highs are like in the 40s, so it's just doing all that stuff. It's a good opportunity today, being kind of a down day. We're here at the house to do something on termite that I've been wanting to do for a long time. Just other stuff, I hadn't really had time to get out here and fool with it. But we're gonna do some flex testing on old termite here today for a number of reasons. And we're gonna do some experimenting to see a question that there seems to be varying answers, nothing exactly clear, as to how much flex can you get out of a leaf spring suspension. Now, there's gonna be some variables there. First of all, we're working with BJ's Off-Road 4-inch lift, leaf springs front and back, no lift blocks, no nothing like that. And we have, I believe these are Rancho or maybe Rough Country. I can't remember what shocks. Maybe Rough Country shocks on this thing. So here's some things that we're looking at today. We've got all of this stuff is still on termite, so we're going to be able to remove it and see what difference it actually makes. We've got track bars front and back. Now, it may sound, if you have a coil spring suspension, you may wonder, why would you remove track bars? Well, on a leaf spring suspension, it's debatable if you even need them or not. Earlier FSJs from the 70s and stuff didn't even come with them really. So with a leaf spring, what a track bar does is it just keeps your axle from going side to side and doing all that kind of stuff. Well, if you're with leaf springs, they're not really going to be doing that as bad as they are with a linked suspension with coil springs. So it's debatable if you really even need them, especially the ones in the back. Now, if you're going to be towing, then I would recommend you do leave them on. We're not really gonna be towing with termite. We are looking at building a camp trailer, but I don't think the weight of that thing is gonna be significant enough to make a difference there. So we're gonna work at removing the track bars, and then we're gonna get us a base flex first, then remove the track bars, see what difference does that even make. Then we still have the front sway bar on termite. Now, what I've been wanting to do is either buy or build some quick disconnects. I've had those on older, like my Jeep WJ, stuff like that, where you just reach in, pull the pin, and you can unhook your sway bar when you're off-road to give you some more articulation. So all I'm gonna be doing today is just unhooking the links on the sway bar and then checking to see how much do we gain with that. Is it worth spending the time and the money to buy or build a set for this if you're not gonna gain that much. Now, termite is not a rock crawler. It's nothing like that. So if you're expecting a video with 36 inches of flex, it's not gonna happen. I know it's not gonna be crazy either way we go, but we've been on trails before where the terrain wasn't that bad. I mean, it was, somewhat challenging, but it would lift tires so easy. Tires that should have been able to articulate and flex. And you want that articulation. You want rubber on the ground. You don't want rubber in the air, because rubber in the air is doing you no good. So in a situation where you need to climb or need acceleration, you need that torque to pull, well, if one of your wheels is off the ground, it's up. If you got, it don't matter if you got lockers or what you got, if it ain't touching the ground, it's doing you no good. We were in a situation in Ozarks on one trail where we were coming down and it was flexing that, well, you're braking. I need that tire on the ground to help slow all this weight down, but it's floating in the air. So it's not doing me any good. So we're not looking for flex necessarily to rock crawl or anything like that. We're not going to Moab and doing nothing wild with it. But we are looking to get some more articulation out of it. We're going back to the Ozarks in January for a week. And so I just want to be able to have a little bit more rubber on the ground as we go through different obstacles and stuff on trails. So we're going to get it up. We're going to, there's a number of ways too that you can do a flex test. My method that I'm gonna do today, I'm just gonna put a floor jack under the axle in the front and see, maybe one in the back, and just see kind of what we get out of it. I know that's not completely accurate to like a real world test in a lot of ways, but it'll tell us whether we're gaining anything or not. So maybe one day I want to build a flex ramp and you know, we can really do some tests and get some buddies over and see who can do what. But for right now today, we're just going to take our floor jack, put it under the axle, lift. We'll kind of move around with that and see what we can get out of old Termite here. So let's get at it. Let's get to moving, checking some stuff, see what we got the base to work with. Then we'll start removing parts and see what we gain. Measures about 10.5 inches from the bottom of the tire to the floor. The back tire never lifted, but the front tire did. That's all gonna be your sway bar. And I'm breathing heavy because using the floor jack. So you can see that's kind of what we're looking at there. So nothing hitting over here. You can see we got plenty of clearance, and we're running BJ's 4-inch lift, like we said. These are 32 by 11.5 on factory wheels, no spacers. And you can see that's kind of what we're working with. So we got about 10.5 inches in the front before the other front tire starts to lift. So let's set that down and check this back wheel, and let's see what we're working with back here. About 8 inches to the bottom of the tire. The back tire on the other side is starting to get light. So, all right. So we got a 10.5 baseline in the front, 8-inch baseline in the back.
It's too cold to be out here. Gotta lift, and still some stuff's gotta be done on the floor.
So all we did, you can see right there, sway bar length is just unhooked on that side. And same thing over here. I just unhooked them, slid them off at the bottom. And so now let's see if what kind of difference that makes. 13.5, so we've gained 3 inches.
3 inches.
And we're not done yet. So, all right, so setting it down on the ramp with a 4x4, we're being kind of conservative here. Obviously, real world, give or take half an inch, inch and a half, maybe even. But our rough measurements, we started out with a base of 10.5, unhooked the sway bars, and we were easily able to get 13.5, possibly 14, really more like probably 14, because the 4x4 and the ramp come out to 13.5, and I'm above it, but we're gonna be conservative and say 13.5. So we gained about 3 inches of articulation, possibly a little bit more, just by unhooking the sway bar links. So I would definitely say that that's worth it. Before, with the sway bar hooked up, when this wheel came up, it picked up this wheel. The other wheel came off the ground. The back one never did. It was all in the front. But now, this one's staying planted, which is because it's allowing that axle to be able to articulate. So let's go now. Let's take off the back track bar, and let's see what that does. That's Kowalski tearing my shop up looking for mice.
Don't say that word. That's gonna make it worse.
Before we move any further.
Yeah.
Track bar. Now the kit.
Keeps you on track.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
We didn't put this lift on. The previous owner had a shop put it on, and the kit came with a extension. You can see that bracket right there, right by the exhaust. That's the extension that came up to extend your track bar up. So it had that on there to keep your track bar level. But so now let's get the jack over here. Andrew took Benadryl this morning like a crazy person. And now she's literally like narcolepsy. I keep looking at her to hand me stuff and she's like half asleep.
I'm coming.
so let's jack this side up and let's see what removing the track bar did to the back. That's a foot right there. So 3 inches.
Again.
Another 3 inches. Oh, this is wearing me out.
I heard a boom. So he's gonna.
I know, he's a whip.
He is.
He is Didn't really gain much. So now we're gonna do kind of a road test, just general driving to see what difference is there as far as body roll, things like that. But so we're gonna go around down the road. We got some really curvy, bumpy back roads. See if we can see what it does. Start with a stump in the yard and see if it.
That's what we could have done our flex test on.
Jumping stumps.
You just ran over is all you did. Those vents, man. I would say it's a lot smoother.
I think it rides better. I mean, that may just be me, but
I mean, I could fall asleep in here, but
that's because you're doped up on Benadryl.
it's because I could fall asleep in the car anyway. You got it.
I decorated a random tree out by the road.
Aw, how sweet. It's way smoother.
It is.
It's way smoother.
It used to bounce us around.
It's like smooth. It's a smoother ride.
I swear it is. I'm not trying to be exaggerating.
No, I'm not either. Like all those, normally it's just like they jar
Yeah, you would hit a bump with this thing. It was quick.
The whole thing.
The whole thing would move so fast.
Yeah.
And now it moves, but it's like a slower movement because your leaf springs, I guess, can actually kind of absorb. You don't have that harsh push. Man, free suspension upgrade.
There you go.
And weight savings. We just got lighter today, folks.
We did.
You gained probably 20, 30 horsepower.
Husky, move. This way just a little bit. Yeah, come on. Straight. Okay. Spinning.
Okay, so with the sway bar back on, we're only able to go up this high before the other side. It lightens the load on that one and it can't get spinning traction. So that means that tire's getting really light and about to come off the ground. All right, so the test in the shop with the floor jack we know is not even close to real world scenario. So today we have a little more time than we thought we was gonna have. So Andrew and I decided to build somewhat of a makeshift flex ramp. We don't have big rocks here, but we do have some firewood from a tree that we cut up. So we stacked firewood up to, this is gonna be 18 3/4 or something like that. This one is, you see, a little over 11. Then right here, a little over 15. So with the sway bars on, this is as high as we can come up without the other wheel starting to unload and spin. So if it's not able to get traction because the sway bars, you know, doing everything, this is as high as we can flex with this. Pull the sway bar back off. We still haven't put any track bars on, probably not gonna put track bars back on. But our biggest change came from the sway bar. So track bars, we've been driving it now. We drove it today. Really can't tell much. If you didn't tell me you had done something, I really probably wouldn't notice, other than the fact that it does ride a little bit smoother on big humps in the road. It don't jar as much. So we're gonna back this back down, pull the sway bars back off, and see how it flexes then.
Maybe we can get on the big stump. Okay. Come on. Come on. Whoa!
Still got a little more to go?
You do.
Stump is 18.5 inches tall. It's about the tallest one we have, tallest section we have. So I think it could actually go a little bit more, but this is all we got. So there's your proof right there. All right, so we backed up. You can see where the tire was spinning. Now,
Attempting.
the yard is wet, so it is on wet grass. So if it was dry, it might could have pulled itself up on there. But the point is, without the sway bar, it did pull itself up there.
It did. And it
easily.
And it didn't do that.
It didn't do that. Didn't spin, and felt like it could have just kept walking up. Also, one thing we've noticed is the noise is a lot less without all of that stuff hooked up. As far as flexing, like coming up on this without the sway bar, it was almost no noise. It was just able to articulate. Before, you hear all the bushings.
Well, and then you hear the fan hitting the shroud.
Yeah,
like,
we had the fan hit the shroud.
We've got so many videos where it just...
Yeah, you hear some of our videos, you hear the fan hitting the shroud. And there's a lot of space between our fan and shroud. But I guess the flex was so much that it was actually tweaking the frame enough to hit it. But the fact that it didn't do it right there that's testimony. I'm sold. So track bars, do with them what you want. But would definitely encourage sway bars to have disconnects if you have a leaf spring suspension. And I wish we could give you more accurate numbers, but without a ramp, an actual gauged ramp, it's hard to know where.
Yeah.
But I think what we've seen so far is enough for me to say quick connects are worth either buying or attempting to build. That's really what I was looking for. So, all right, guys. Well, that's gonna do it for our video for today. I feel happy. I feel like we got some good results. Didn't cost us nothing.
It's a free Christmas gift.
Free Christmas gift to Termite. You got a little more flex. But we appreciate you guys watching as always. From our family to yours, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas. We got some fun stuff coming up in the future that we're really, really excited about. And some of it we've told you about. Some of it we have not told you about because some of it's just kind of unfolding as we go. So anyway, see y'all next week.
What you doing there, babe?
Like a dung beetle.
You do. You are a dung beetle.